Hello everyone, welcome to CFC Fan TV. I thought I would do a live with you all because, I just want to get your thoughts on the game. I know that it's not been a good season for us, and I know things have sort of got to that point now where everything's starting to boil over to the point where people just want the season to end, and I completely agree with you. I don't think it's not that I'm not motivated, it's just that I don't want to see boring football, and all we really have is like a lot of boring football. We're not seeing players perform to the level that we know they can perform to. Um, I don't know whether that's due to the manager or whether it's due to sort of just a lack of motivation, the fact that we have nothing to play for now. Yeah, we've got the cup, but the players don't seem to have any motivation. I'm sure they don't turn up thinking, "Oh, we're going to lose today," but in terms of if the game's not going the way they want it to, I mean, they're not that bothered. You can just tell that. Sorry, I'm just going to take my phone off of charge. There we go. Oh, that's better. Now I can hold it properly. Yeah, what do you think about our chance of the FA Cup? Hello. Yeah, I mean, it's Southampton. They had a loss today, even though they sort of showed a bit of fight in the game against Arsenal. They still lost 3-2. They're meant to, be going down sadly. I think they may do if they don't pick it up in the next few games. I mean, for sure, which would be sad because I think Southampton are a good club that have done really well to stay up in the Premier League for many years now. I think they've been able to sell players and still perform at a very good level. I think this season they just have poor management and etc., which is a shame. So it would be sad if they went down actually. But in terms of do I think we have a chance, I'm not confident. I don't think it matters that they're possibly going to get relegated. We cannot get it together. We have a group of players that are so expensive, have so much quality in them, and they're still not performing at the level that they should do, which is it is confusing as an overall. And I don't think that I don't think I do have much confidence going into scale. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost. I think it would be absolutely tragic if we did. Because us fans, the season is ended, and I do understand why they would be unmotivated in the Premier League to an extent. But we have a chance of winning a trophy. It's another trophy to add to our cabinet. It's another trophy to be proud of. It's something to show that, we can still win competitions even on a bad season. And I think we can all agree this has been a bad season. And even though it's quite hard, because even though I've seen us play at times this season, I've seen us play some really good football, football that shows our quality, football that I think stands out for the rest. But we've not been consistent. So like I've said it a million times. Every time we take one step forward, we take another two steps back, which is a massive shame, and it has been all season. I will touch on the fact that I know a lot of you are now Conte out. Conte is going to leave in the summer. I mean, I'd be absolutely just in utter denial if I thought, or if it was true that he was going to stay. I cannot see him staying for the life of me. But if he did, I don't really see the point. I think he's sort of given up now. Fans made a good point in the interview. So if you haven't seen the fan cams, please do check them out. They made a good point. He's not running up and down the touchlines now. He's not jumping into the crowd when we score, all those sorts of things. And I think that's what happened last season, and while we actually loved him, while we really, really were excited to have him, on board. Sophie in, thank you. So I'll read your comments in a minute, I promise I will. I'm just trying to get my anger out. Yeah, I think, another Twitter tweet. Yeah, and I think his mood has changed, and I know a lot of you want to blame him, and I don't, and I'm not saying that I am completely Conte now, because I think if somebody doesn't want to be somewhere, they may as well not be, no matter how good they are. I think he's a fantastic manager, but he hasn't been given any of the players that he felt he needed after basically going above and beyond to win the league last season. So when you do that, you sort of set yourself up for failure pretty early on. Let me take your questions now then. Sophie, you're beautiful as always. Thank you, Christo. That's really sweet of you to say. I really do appreciate that. Will Hazard go? I don't think he's going to go this season. I used to be really worried about it, and I am really worried about it, but I think sometimes you find that when you take a really good player out of the team all of a sudden start performing slightly better. A bit like when Sanchez left. I don't think at Arsenal, I don't think they've been a bit amazing, but I think it's shocking how a team sort of gels together sometimes when somebody who's like the main star leaves, you know, because they're more of a team. But I mean, I don't know if that would happen or not, because Hazard's basically is our best player, if not one of. Sophie in, that's great. You know, but I think for Conte now, it's just, okay, God, all the questions are flying in. I think for Conte now, I think he doesn't want to be here. If you don't want to be here, you got to go. Unfortunately, it's time to go, as my good friend Claude would say. It's time to go. And it's a shame, because I really do feel as if we are going to run out of managers. There's not very many good managers around now, you know, which is the problem. And that's why I think in the Premier League now, no manager lasts longer than a few years. But I would like at Chelsea to see the manager last at least 3 or 4 years, because at the end of the day, you've got to think, you know, we fired managers like Ancelotti, exactly, who I think we should have back, probably, at some point, that have won us Premier League titles. We have Mourinho, who won us Premier League titles, and he still gets sacked. So at the end of the day, if somebody gets sacked when they've won you a Premier League title because they don't win it, you know, the year after, you really are setting yourself up to just have such a hard. You're making your life very tough. You're making the Premier League extremely more tough than it needs to be. It is physically not possible, and I will say that I actually think, all bar the fact that anything's possible, I do think it's actually impossible for any team in the Premier League now to win it season after season. And I mean that. I think even Man City, I think they'll get a shock at least at one point, because it's just so unpredictable. So Chelsea fans must show their boobs. No, they don't have to, darling. I'm definitely not going to do that on here. It's very inappropriate. But yeah, so, you know, if we had a manager that won us a Premier League title one in 3 years, I would much rather 100,000% prefer that than to keep sacking managers every other time they don't win the league in 2 consecutive seasons. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Love you, Sophie. Great channel. Thank you, Matt, so much. I appreciate it. I love speaking to you, all you guys, you know. Don't know if any of you want to see my house. Do you want to see it? There's a candle at the moment, and I had some strawberries. I'm really hungry, but I've got to go on a diet because I gained about half a stone in Miami. Yeah, it's just it's not really that great. We'll get there. Next questions. What else are we saying here? Chelsea to win the league next season. We'll see, darling. No, I don't think it's going to happen, you know, because even if someone like Allegri was to come in, he's not long term. I honestly don't think Allegri would last 2 years. I don't think he would. I think he'd be gone after a year. Why can't we play Drinkwater? Good question. You know, our signings this season have just been so effing messed up. I think it's fine to sign players like Danny Drinkwater if you're thinking more of like a long-term thing. But when we signed Danny Drinkwater, we're in a position as a club where we're not actually that stable. I would sign Danny Drinkwater when we already have a very stable club. We have a stable team, in which case, if you've got a stable team, then you can then sort of incorporate these extra players in and ease them in. Asking a player like Danny Drinkwater, who's not been first choice this season and wouldn't be, to start performing at like the highest level that Chelsea expects him to do when we're already in like turmoil, if that's the right word to use, it's just not going to happen. Sophie for manager. Yes, Sophie for manager. Can you imagine? My God, it'd be absolutely brilliant. I'd be like, right, Courtois, you're up front. Why isn't David Luiz playing, Charlie? This is down, I think him and Conte don't get along. I think a lot of it is down to David Luiz's behaviour. I can imagine he's very much like, I think he's probably what I used to be like. So every time I used to get angry, me and Rory talk about this, I used to go absolutely ballistic. And then when you calm down a few days later, you're like, oh yeah, I really should have said nothing at all. And I've learnt now to just, unless I'm absolutely raging, to not say anything at all, you know, really to try and not do that. Which is, I think he's got a very like fun personality. I think he's a favourite at the club. But I think Conte just said to him, you know, listen, this is what you've got to do. If you don't want to do it, then that's it. And I think David Luiz is a great player, but I think there should be some sort of middle ground between a manager and a player. And I don't think players' egos should be priority. I think that if you've got a good relationship with everybody and you let your ego go a little bit on both sides, then it's a happy club. So yeah, I think they had a little bit of an argument, and it's not really been the same since. Is Rory your husband? No. Rory's married. He's a great guy, but he's married. Next question. Cahill or Louise? Great. David Luiz, David Luiz. You remember when I used to say David Luiz? You used to get mental on me. Listen, Cahill for me, it's a very sore subject. I don't like all the major hate that he gets, but I do not think he should be captain, purely because we have somebody else who's in better contention for that place, and I think you can all agree who that is. Before I say it, I'm gonna let you think. I think there's somebody else who should be captain. Who do you think I think it is? And once you tell me, I'm going to tell you who I'm thinking of. Charles just made a good shout. USA Tennis, Sebastian. Right, there you go. Look, Dave. Yeah, 100% Dave. Like it has to be Dave, because, you know, even when he scored his goal today, you know, touching his armband, kissing the badge, things like that are so, you know, they're just so important to us. He's the only person, he's the only one now that really wants to wear the blue shirt. He's fantastic. I think he's so underrated. I think he's a contender for player of the season every season, but unfortunately that normally just goes to Hazard or Kante or whoever. And you know, they're fantastic players, but Dave has not been. I think Dave should just receive an all-round recognition award. That would be great, because he's not been given the praise he deserves. He is a fantastic defender. He is a leader. He's stabilised everything. You know, I think when he came in was around when he was playing with Ivanovic. Ivanovic was my key player for years, and then when Ivanovic sort of, you know, started to go a bit downhill, which was very sad, Dave is sort of the one who, you know, just kept things at the back stable. You know, he was the only one that was going to do that. And I think you can only say that Azpilicueta is the only one at the club at the moment. You know, Kante, yes, but he's very new. That, you know, but Dave's been with us for years. Is the only one that should actually be captain. And if I was manager tomorrow, I would 100% say that he was my captain. And that's no offence to Gary Cahill. It's just that, you know, facts are facts, and he is number one. Sophie, who is Dave? Dave is Azpilicueta. If for those of you who don't know, we called him Dave because when he first came to Chelsea all these years ago, I remember being in the shed lower and nobody could pronounce his name. We was like, who the hell is this? Because we were just used to Ashley Cole, John Terry, Frank Lampard. People had all very similar names, you know, William Gallas, you know, William. Cesar Azpilicueta comes on, and everyone was like, who the hell's this? And he ends up being an absolute ledge, so... Sophie is our next manager. I know you all keep saying this, and I really think I should just, you know, put that forward to the board and see if they will take me on as manager. I think I'd be a great manager. Why is Giroud not playing? Good question. I think it's silly that he isn't. Like I said before, you know, the club has spent so much money on Morata. I'm not saying he's not capable of scoring goals, but you have to be so feisty to play in this league. And I actually regret some of the mean things I said about Diego Costa when he was there. And although I didn't really agree with his attitude, you know, he had above and beyond that mentality to be able to play in the Premier League. You know, he was feisty on the pitch, off the pitch, like, you know, he was just one of those players that could really handle it. And I don't think Morata can handle it. I don't think he's a bad football player. I don't think he lacks quality. I just think he's not strong enough to handle the Premier League. And if you haven't done it after a whole year, you know, it's not that great. I think he started off well, but at the end of the day, I would rather it sort of work. I'd rather he sort of worked his way in. You know, I think when you start well and you sort of go on a decline, that's when you've got a bit of a problem. Hold on, let's just see. Oh, I can scroll up. Good. Hi, Sophie West Ham fan, Jazza. Hi, Sophie West Ham fan here. How do you think we played? Oh, I think you played... Well, I mean, you know, Hernandez always scores against us. I don't know why we haven't worked that out yet. You know, if you know he's going to score against you, you literally do not leave his side. Yeah, there you go. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, you know, West Ham aren't a bad team. I think you just got poor organisation. Other than when you play against Chelsea. Bring Oscar back. Oh, you know, Oscar's my favourite, but I wouldn't say bring him back. I think he's had his time at Chelsea. I think he wouldn't be the way forward because the Premier League's just got so tough now. Tougher than when he left. You know, it gets tougher every year, and I don't think he's the one for us. One player I would bring back. It's okay. You see, guys, I think I may have mentioned this before, but there's one player that we sold that I would love to have back at Chelsea. Who do you think it is? Comment. and I'll tell you. He's still currently playing football. Oh, somebody has said it. Somebody said it. Somebody's guessed it. A couple of you guessed it. Oh, you've already... Yeah, Ramirez. Very good, guys. Yeah. You know, Ramirez, I didn't get selling him. I really and honestly, I mean, think of the shitstorm that we've had with our midfield this season. We've got Kante. Kante is not 3 people in one. He's not 4 people in one. We've got a great wing back in Alonso, but Ramirez is such a good... If you're not going to play in the first team, he's beyond a good second choice. You know, he's beyond the bench. I would 100% have Ramirez back at the club any day, and that is because he just has the extra. I'm not saying he's Eden Hazard quality, but can you imagine if we had Ramirez and Kante together? How much work? Like, they would be 100 times way more influential than what we have now with Bakayoko or Fabregas. You know, if we have to play him in that position. He scored against Barcelona, exactly. And actually, you know what? Everyone looked at that Barcelona game, remembers the Torres goal. But for me, it's the Ramirez goal all day long. The Frank Lampard assist, and to pass that to Ramirez and for him to finish it under that much pressure is insanity. And how you can ever let go of a player that has that quality, I have no idea. Yeah, that shit was beautiful. It was all beautiful. It was bloody brilliant. And you know, with Fabregas, I think a lot of you are saying he's past his prime now. I mean, everyone gave me quite a lot of crap because I said that I didn't think it was appropriate that he said that he would like to go back and do a coaching role at Arsenal. But it was because I thought it was the wrong time of the season. We're all fuming here. We're absolutely fuming. And we're having to go to these games, spend money on these games. We've got nothing to play for. We're not going to get top 4 next season. He's talking about how he wants to eventually go and play a coaching role at Arsenal one day. You know, nobody cares. You know, leave that for your summer interviews, you know, when the season's over and whatnot. Not right now. We're not in the mood for that, you know. Kante or Ramirez, pick one. Oh, darling. What a crazy question. Kante or Ramirez? Oh, I'm going to go with Kante. Listen, Kante will always be number 1. I think he is one of the best midfielders in the world. Always, I will say that. But what I will do is say that Ramirez and Kante together, I think would be brilliant. If I was manager tomorrow, I'd be signing Ramirez right back up, you know. Kante is a goat. I don't know what goat means. I think it means good from what you guys say. Would I bang Ramirez? Why would you even say such a thing? God, no. Jody Morris in. So yeah, Jody B coaches the under-18s, doesn't he? And they do a really, really good job. I'll float the idea. I'll ask him. Does he want to coach the first team? Would you like Ruben back next season? Oh, good question. No. Listen, Ruben is a great player, but to break into this team, I feel as if a player like Ruben was to come back, he's going to need some form of leadership. He's going to need another player like JT to sort of give him a little bit of guidance to play for Chelsea FC. Chelsea's such a huge club, and our board, I mean, the pressure to perform well at the highest level ASAP. You know, we're not really a club that give you a lot of time to settle in. Kennedy. Now, Kennedy is a player that I absolutely have always adored. I think he's a fantastically underrated footballer. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I think he's been great since he signed for Newcastle. I think he definitely has something in him. I think at the time, I think it was just his attitude, and I think he's come into a team where managers prefer to just stick with the sort of, I don't know, safe 11. But I would love to see him feature eventually. And I think if he goes to I think eventually Kennedy will make his way up to a top 6 club, in which case we'll see what he can do, and he'll start causing us all sorts of problems. But he has to be fully motivated to do that, you know. And I don't know if they're rumours or if it's true or not true. I don't like to comment really on all this crap. But yeah, if he does want to go for it, I think he has all the potential. DJ Raceman, hi there, hello. God, your comments are just flying in. You guys are so cool. I love speaking to all of you lot. What are you saying? Why won't Conte play Emerson? I don't know. It's a weird one. I completely forgot we even signed him. This is what I mean. Listen, our signings this season have either not paid off or just been absolutely abysmal. I mean, not abysmal as in the terms of the fact that I think the players are not talented. I think they are talented, but there's a time. It's all about time when you sign players, and do they fit in with a team? I don't look at a player and think, oh, he's really good, let's sign him. I think he's really good. Would he fit into our team? Is he a threat towards us? Has he caused us problems in the past? You know, one of the brilliant things about signing William was the fact that, you know, we signed him after seeing what he could do. And we wanted him to play for us, and that's how I think it should be. Players like Emerson, no offense to them whatsoever. I'm sure they're great footballers, but it's the wrong time to sign them, because we're not going to use them, and it's a waste of, you know, their playing career, if I'm being honest. Oh, thank you. Beautiful and the positive today, seeing Sophie. It's so cool. Thank you. Who do you think our next manager should be? Pochettino. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? I don't think he's leaving Tottenham anytime soon, if I'm being honest. But yeah, he'd be a very, very good manager. Yeah, the problem with like Allegri and my washing machine's gone off. The problem with Allegri and Enrique and these sorts of managers, they're not going to last longer than 2 years. Everyone thought when Conte came, yeah, it's going to be this long and that long. It's not going to be. It's just not going to be. And we're running out of them. You know, it's going to be another 10 years before we find some very, very good football managers that sort of come out of nowhere. We've been through them all. You know, and if you're firing the likes of Mourinho, as much as you may not like him now, if firing the likes of Mourinho and Ancelotti, you've got problems. You can have Wenger. Babes, we're not that desperate. When we get to that level of desperation, we'll let you guys. I'll let you guys know. Wenger in. Yes, we've got to have Wenger in, haven't we? And yeah, Troops. Well, me and Troops were meant to be in the studio the other week, but it got postponed. But we will be doing a segment soon. For those of you that don't know, I'm starting my own YouTube channel. It's called Sophie Rose World, and I will let you know when it's all released. Which I've been working on loads of different things. I'm trying to get a lot of content sorted before I release it, so that, you know, you've got things to watch. It's going to be everything, and I'd like to know what you want in it. So it's going to be lifestyle. I'm going to go do a few things. I'm going to do a few episodes where I'm going to basically take on challenges, things that scare me. One of them being spiders, so look out for that. Wenger in. Wenger in all the way. He's fantastic for Arsenal. He does a great job. They're winning trophies left, right and centre. Their players are happy. Their fans are happy. He's got to stay. He's just got to stay. Wear an Arsenal shirt, please, babe. No, I ain't happening. Youth players, yeah, you know, listen, I would love to see some of our youth players. You know, for me, for Chelsea, if we tried to get ourselves a good manager someone like Ancelotti, if not him, one day, we stuck with him for, you know, X amount of years. We brought through some youth players. You know, we'd save ourselves money. We'd probably make a profit. We'd develop these players into fantastic players. We'd get behind. We'd really get behind them and give them a huge confidence boost, and they would just become, you know, these fantastic footballers. And you know, I think we'd have a lot. You're always going to need to make big signings, I know, but I think we could at least bring through one a season, if not a couple more. Brendan Rodgers in. My God, can you imagine? I don't know about that one. It's a bit of a crazy thing to think, isn't it, actually? What do you think about Zidane, Sophie? I don't really follow Spanish football as much. I only really care about Chelsea, so I'm sorry my knowledge isn't really amazing for the other leagues in other countries. But, you know, I'm a Chelsea fan, and this is why I do this job. And if I need to speculate on other teams and other managers, then I will do when when it's necessary. What was that? Was a good one. Who would you like to sign? Isco or Leon Bailey? A lot of talk about Leon Bailey. Charlie speaks very highly of him. Young player, and yeah, I think he'd be a great signing. But main thing for me is the board and the manager just need to give these young kids a sign for us. You know, some confidence. I think the main thing is, I think when players and managers come to Chelsea, especially players, they know if they don't perform in the first couple of months that they're out, as well as with other teams, you've sort of got a little bit more leniency. And I think that's why with the teams like Man United, they've been able to bring through some young youth, you know, and really get that going. What do we think of Tottenham? Babe, we all know what we think of Tottenham. We hate them. Always will do. Should we play Van Ginkel next season? You know, I'm going to wait. In all seriousness, I do comment on transfers a little bit, but I don't like to comment on it too much because I like to, whenever we sign new players, I'm like, oh, they're going to be rubbish in the summer, and then they end up playing for us for years on end. So, yeah, we'll see about that one. Love your vids. Thank you. Do I have Twitter? Yes, I do. My Twitter is Sophie Rose UTC, and my Instagram is Sophie Rose Insta. Quite quick, really. Sophie. I'm more on Instagram, if I'm being honest. So Sophie Rose Insta. You can follow me there. What else are we saying? I'll answer a few more questions before we end. We've been talking for 25 minutes, everyone. Am I single? Yes. I wasn't, and now I am. Yeah, my Instagram, Sophie Rose Insta. Yeah, you know, at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have thought Tottenham would have got into the Champions League, but I think they're a great team. I think they have a great team as in terms of talented players, not in terms of club. Great team, not club. I think they've got a great manager who's bringing out the best in those players. But I do think they lack mentality, which will always come through in the end. So I think they're quite far off winning a trophy, if I'm being honest. I'm going now. I'm going now too, babe. Okay, it seems as if we are... Oh, why aren't you on Love Island? You guys are so funny. Love Island's not for me at the moment. You never know. But I don't want a relationship, darling, right now. So I don't think it'd be suitable for me to go in there. Batshuayi in. Okay, that's one last thing we'll touch on. Today against West Ham, you know, it's just so clear. Our strikers don't score goals. Our strikers this season have been bloody Alonso and Dave or whoever. You know, they haven't been, you know, our strikers really. Giroud hasn't really got a chance. And Batshuayi, for me, although he needs to work on some aspects of his game, to sell him when we haven't really got when our first option is not performing very well and our newest signing isn't really getting a game, was just really silly. He's absolutely like smashing it up at Dortmund, isn't he? And I know it's a German league, but I think he's a fantastic footballer and I think he can show what he can do if given the opportunity. But him coming on at the end 10 minutes every game just won't really do much, you know. So unless we're going to give him a proper chance and build him up that way, which I think he could be really good, at least a really good second option, it's just not going to go well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I've really loved speaking to you all. I'm filming with Rory tomorrow morning in the studio, and we're going to do a little what's it called, like a... Yeah, I have got a blocked nose. I've got such an illness, and no, I don't do any drugs. So I don't know what you're talking about there. But yeah, so we're going to do a video, and you know, it'll probably be another post-mortem of this, and we're going to be discussing sort of, you know, our lows of this season and what's gone wrong. So yeah, look out for that. We'll see you tomorrow, and thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I've loved speaking to you. I've rambled on for half an hour, which is pretty impressive. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Have some Nando's, you know. And yeah, great to see you all. Yeah, so my Instagram